Friday, August 19th, 2022. Today on the Daily Review, we discuss another Wolfgang Petersen film. Why not? It's 2000's A Perfect Storm. The Perfect Storm. With your host, me, Professor Joe LaRocca. Yeah, that's right. It's The Perfect Storm. Not the perfect movie. I'm sure so many people made that joke at the time. It is based on the true story of fishermen off the coasts of Gloucester, off the coast of Massachusetts, who get stuck in a massive storm. That's basically it. So here's what I thought. It stinks. I had seen this at some point. I wasn't really paying it, like when it came out, you know. I didn't see it in the theater, but definitely saw it at some point because everybody in New England, I think, you kind of required to see it. You know, they set it up. Wolfgang Petersen is so good with the action. Like, the action is great, and most of it looks really good. Some shots you go, a little green screeny, a little silly, but hey, made in 99 or late 99, early 2000. Like, a lot of movies that are special effects movies from that time period do not hold up very well, and this doesn't look bad. The problem is the same problem with Poseidon. The fucking script is terrible. And it's just chocked with great actors, but no characters. You know what I mean? It's got George Clooney, Mark Wahlberg, John C. Reilly, Diane Lane, John Hawkes, Michael Ironside, Karen Allen, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, Bob Gunton, William Finchner, fucking Shooter McGavin. You know, everybody's in the movie. And they spend the first 20 or 32 minutes establishing how all of them, what their relation is to a woman. Every single one of them, it's like, and then it's like, I'm going to come back for you. And then it's like, I know we're divorced, but you should come back. And it's like, if you don't come back. And then even John Hawkes is like, yo, can I take you home? And the girl's like, I'm coming to say goodbye. Just so that they can have the scene where everybody comes to say goodbye, like they know that this is going to be like the end, like the last trip. And what they're doing is not really any different than what they would normally do. It's not like they went out knowing that, like, against the odds, going, oh, there's a storm, but it's good fishing during a storm or something like that. It's none of that stuff. It's literally just like they try and make it like Bob Tyne, that's George Clooney, who's the captain of the ship. They're trying to make it look like he's on a dry streak, but I read that he wasn't, which changes the entire movie. But they try and make it like, hey, he's down on his luck if he doesn't have a good haul, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so we got to go to the Flemish cap, not to be mistaken with a sexual position, but you got to go out beyond whatever, you know, further out to get the real good fish. But that's, if they go, you know, so what happens is the storm comes in, they go out too far, even though they know the storm is there, they're like, well, we'll just have to come back through it. But they didn't realize that it's going to be the perfect storm of these, you know, everything colliding perfectly at once with their, and they get stuck right in the eye or whatever, right in the worst part. And spoilers, they all drown. They all die. Yeah. The end. And so the thing is that by changing that one fact that they weren't on a dry spell, really just makes, like, the real life story, it's just like, boy, they were just greedy. Like, it's the captain's fault. It's like, man, they really shouldn't have kept pushing it if you know, especially if it weren't as, like, dire straits for everybody. Dire straits, man. Anyway, you probably could start the movie at about the 30-minute mark. Like, they should just be leaving. And everything, we should be on the boat basically the whole time. The movie should be an hour and a half, not 2 hours and 10 minutes. We just go and we learn. Because even the first few conversations they have on the boat perfectly lets you know, like, what situation everybody's in, what they're leaving behind, what they're risking, what they're good at, what their problems are, guys who have beef with one another. It just felt like we were rehashing it. And I felt like maybe Wolfgang was like, oh, we did that so well in Das Boot, where we spent all this time getting to know everybody at that party beforehand. But the thing is that what's interesting about that is how recklessly they act in that opening party sequence, and how silly everything is and how joyful everything is. And then when they get on the ship, we have everybody. Not only is it so well written that we get and so well acted that we get all these different characters that we feel like we know, but also on top of it, their rigidness and ability to be disciplined is in good contrast. It's the same thing with Deer Hunter, you know? You get to see this amazing contrast, but there is no contrast here. We see how they are. They're kind of like, you know, a certain way. I can't even describe them. They're just like like the stereotypical cis male guy, you know, which is fine, I guess. But it's like nobody has like really any details about them that make them particularly interesting or make them stand out, and none of the everybody's just doing fine. Like when the action's happening, just like Poseidon Man, you're like, wow, these actors are professional, and this must be really hard to act with like water being shot in your face, and or maybe it's easy to act, you know, you just go, Jesus. No fish were hurt. I was amazed because there's a scene where they pull up a shark by accident, and it's like biting on Mark Wahlberg's boot, and it looks pretty damn real, and I was like, that looks pretty real. And then George Clooney comes out and shoots it with a shotgun, and for the split second I was like, did they do that? That's insane. Then I was like, no, there's no real fish, it's all animatronic or rubber fish. And that Wolfgang Petersen is quite an animal rights activist, it said on IMDb trivia, apparently. Anyway, the dialogue's all like, you know, so like George Clooney literally says when they're trying, when he's like, we're going the rest of the way out, he literally says, so this is the moment of truth which separates the men from the boys. You're like, you don't need to say it, we get it. This shit is just, yeah, it's bad. And it's also like, at that point you're just like, no, you should go back. Someone almost drowned, someone's getting bit by a shark, people are fighting, like it's just, they're not pulling up fish. And so that's the point where in the fictional story that they're doing, even though they say based on a true story, you know, they're like, well, we got, you know, all of our lives depend on it. And all these people we've established and relationships depend on us pulling in a big haul. But who cares? Because the truth is that they were just like, no, let's keep going. Or Billy forced them, maybe it's entirely his fault. Anyway. At the funeral at the end, they should have had pictures of the real guys, not the actors. That was a missed opportunity, in my opinion. Otherwise, it's bad. It's just like unbearably cheesy dialogue, and there's a few cool moments, and there's some good action. And John C. Reilly, he's all right, you know. God, what a boring review! A boring review for a boring movie. Well, what can I say? I guess if I'm gonna grade it, I'd give it, what's that? A's, B's, it's like a C minus, I guess. It's really pretty tedious. I don't really like water action. I guess I really like The Abyss, but other than that, like I just get stressed about people drowning, and then I you know, it's just like one of those things where I feel like I'm holding my breath the whole time, and it like screws up my breathing pattern. But maybe that's my own problem. Anyway, you can like and subscribe. If you like to subscribe, I'm here every day. You can be here as much as you want. And what did I learn from The Perfect Storm by Wolfgang Petersen is that it is better to burn out than to fade away. Rest in peace, all fishermen who make the sea their resting place. What? Anyway, I'll do something better tomorrow. Sorry. Bye.